Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to episode number 105 in the book of the Gospel of John. Today's going to be about being ready before the rooster crows. I've been thinking about trouble that is to come sometime in the future. And Jesus tells Peter flat out that before the rooster crows, something is going to happen. And he gives him a specific future time, and it's a trauma, it's a spiritual temptation, it's a spiritual test, and he tells him it's going to be soon. Actually, it's even before breakfast tomorrow, which is really interesting. So Jesus gives Peter a heads up. He says, trouble is coming soon. So I'm asking the question this morning, what if we had a specific, identifiable, time-stamped warning in the future? Now, he kind of does that in John 16 to everybody in general, and he says, in the world you will have tribulation, but take heart, I have overcome the world. But I'm thinking even more specific than that trouble is coming for you. All right, so what specific areas of temptation or trial or testing would be likely? Could it be pride or of words of the tongue, of compromise financially, anger, compromise with your zipper? What thing are you most at risk for? And perhaps what thing are you best prepared to defend? But being a Christian, Peter thinks, hey, I'm a big deal in God's family, and that doesn't even exempt him from testing. So in John 13:36, here's the passage for today, John 13:36. Simon Peter said to him, Lord, where are you going? Jesus answered him, where I'm going, you cannot follow me now, but you will follow me afterward. Peter said to him, Lord, why can't I not follow you? And here's the problem. I will lay down my life for you, says Peter. Jesus answered, will you lay down your life for me? Truly, truly, I say to you, the rooster will not crow until you have denied me 3 times. So I think for Peter here, the problem is pride, and he has this personal preservation. And Peter seems to say, Lord, I got this. I'm a 10 out of 10 Christian. I'm going to go to a sacrificial death for you. I'm one of your great followers. And of note, less than 24 hours later, he does not. And of an even greater note, this is, the globally interesting thing, is after he gets this all sorted out, he actually does lay down his life for Jesus at the end of Peter's life. He's a martyr. So Peter learns, how to be a humble follower is perhaps the greatest lesson he should have been learning. So apparently Peter has got some pride work to do, or name your sin, anger work, gossip work, or zipper work. Who of us is preserved from general difficulty? Answer is nobody. And perhaps now, who of us under the Lord's watchful and caring eye that may allow a trial or a sickness or a difficulty? Why? Well, is it because the Lord fell off the throne? Is it because he glanced away from our planet for the moment and he dropped his sovereignty for a second? Is it because he ceased his love for humanity for a second? No. What happens to Peter is under the sovereignty of the Lord. It kind of seems horrible. I'm sure it seemed horrible to him, but it turns out to be essential for Peter. The Lord meets Peter in the fall, and the Lord meets Peter in the recovery. So the Lord is still sovereign in the next 18 months of betrayals, abandonment, arrest, violence, mocking, beating, crucifixions. So yesterday we asked, what will you do after the fall? So, one stumble, one sin, does that mean Peter's done for? Or is Jesus making a way to take Peter home? And does Peter use the fact that the Lord allows the fall for him to learn something, to stay close, to be humble, to be dependent? And I love what happens to Peter after the fall. He lives a life of correction and great ministry. But today, it's about what happens before the fall. And that is, let's be humble. Let's ask for help. And why? Well, greater men and women than you and me, for example, Peter, have fallen. So I think the charge is to stay close to the person of Jesus. Stay close to his proclamation, that is, stay close to his word. Stay close to his people. Hebrews 10 says, let us consider how to stir up one another to love and good deeds. Let us consider how to stir up one another to love and good works, not neglecting meeting together as some are in the habit of doing, but encourage one another. And then Hebrews 3:12, take care, brothers, lest there be in you an evil, unbelieving heart, leading you to fall away from the living God. Exhort one another every day, as long as it's called today, so that none of you may be hardened. And then stay close to pleading. That is, ask the Lord. So I think as far as take homes today, so what if we knew that like Peter, in a sense, trouble and testing and trial was coming? Are you ready? That's the question. And perhaps we have some work to do. In Peter's case, it had to do with his pride, I think. Perhaps it's with our anger or gossip or our zipper. Maybe difficulty of being honored is coming. And that's a particular temptation. So I think he's asking us to stay close to the person of God, stay close to his word, his proclamation, stay close to his people. They'll help steer you back. Stay close to pleading before his throne. And in all of those, be humble. Be a humble follower, which I think was Peter's biggest mistake. So perhaps then, for us, before the rooster crows of our temptation, of our trial, of our testing, that I can be ready. Thanks for listening.